Are you serious? Joining us right now from somewhere, some location on this planet, it's Mike from around the world. Mike, how you doing tonight?
God bless you, Pastor Paul. Doing well. You sound better.
Oh, man, am I better? Did you see the thing that came out of my mouth during communion?
I didn't.
Oh,
I did not. But I'm glad it came out.
Oh, trust me.
I'm glad it came out.
You know, I suffered for 10 days with this thing. It was a bone, and the bone was piercing my tongue, coming through the jaw and coming through the gum. And I thought I had it here close. I showed it Sunday night, but it's about an inch long, or a little bit more than an inch long. And while I was doing communion Sunday night or Sunday morning, doing communion, it came out. It came out.
Well, thank God for that.
Oh my! Awesome. I'm brand new right now. I feel brand new.
That's awesome.
You know, God is so good. My dentist didn't know what to do. He said he was going to remove it the next morning with the procedure, and he said, "You don't even need a stitch." And I told him how it happened, and I saw the blood run out of his face. Scared him to death.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
awesome.
Mike, how are you tonight? How's things going?
Good. Things are busy. A little bit of uncertainty, but things are still going.
Well, we could go there. We could talk about a lot of things with you know the meeting with Putin, and Trump was canceled, and we got Trump saying he's going to bomb on land in Venezuela. But I thought maybe I would start with just this. This hasn't happened, Mike, in 500 years. King Charles at the Vatican praying with Pope Leo XIV. You said some things will never happen. It can't happen until there's a king.
That's right.
What does this mean?
That's right.
What, in your opinion, what does this really mean in this time?
Well, first of all, these people, they have, everybody has their own specific beliefs, right?
Yes.
So whether people see it as right, wrong, holy, or unholy, they have their own beliefs and procedures. When you see a king publicly, because that king is also the head of a church, and then you see the Pope also being the head of a body and a church and a nation, that's a big deal. And they have their own sanctioned procedures. That, in fact, is a procedure, right?
Right.
That much I do know. That's an actual procedure. Before things happen, a king is necessary in the presence of the world before things happen. Now, the Pope, what people will see next are leaders, right? The Pope is going to go talk to leaders.
Yes.
That's what he'll begin to do. And the king himself will also host another talk with leaders. It's coming up.
Okay.
The permission from the Pope is always going to be sought spiritually, because the king recognizes the Pope as a spiritual leader of this world. So do most leaders.
Right. They
will seek his guidance and permission before they do something. And what it really tells us is that something major
is going to happen.
Is in the works. Yep.
Every time, if we was to go back 500, 700, 800 years, 1,000 years, before kings went to war with each other, they sought the counsel of the Pope of Rome.
Yes, they would. Yes, they would.
I mean, they wouldn't make a move without the blessing of the Pope. So you're saying we're getting ready to see something about to happen, because for King Charles III to go to the Vatican, break all protocol for 500 years and seek the blessing of the Pope, something's about to happen on a big time. Would you say on a major mega scale?
Oh yeah. Now that a king is in position that they actually recognize of the red dragon cloak, absolutely, something will take place.
Wow.
And King Charles is the king of the red dragon cloak.
What does that mean? The red dragon cloak.
Well, that's their banner.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's true. On his signet.
It's everywhere. Plus, they have their hidden headdress that they wear in private.
Okay.
Probably nobody would want to see that, but they have their rituals and ceremonies and incantations and rites. So they evoke those rites, and they do those incantations. And when people get behind them and start cheering and everything else, the people involve themselves often, possibly in things they don't understand, but they move forward. So the king is certainly going to make a declaration, or has made one, and something's big
going to happen big, something big. And I remember when King Charles first came in, I remember that night, that Thursday night, when you said, now certain things can't happen until there's a king. And the king of the British Empire is a big deal. I mean, that's a big deal, as we know.
Right.
Okay, let's go over into Venezuela for a minute, because I think that, Trump's blowing up boats, not only in the Caribbean area or off the coast of Venezuela, but now a couple boats over even on the Pacific side. And today he just said, look, we're going to start hitting them on land, period.
Yeah.
Pete Hegseth, go tell Congress, I said we're going to do it. It's going to happen. We're doing it. What does that mean? I mean, is he declaring war without Congress? Is he just don't care? What do you think?
Well, first of all, people have to remember that President Trump is doing everything by counsel. Okay, so basically his decisions are recommendations from those who are around him, right? Venezuela is a very dangerous place.
Right.
Very dangerous place. In fact, it's a very tricky place too. And so they're going to have to handle this with the utmost of care and caution. The reason why is because we have operatives in Venezuela. We have special operations alongside Colombian special operations. And by the way, those guys are used to the bush. They're very good at what they do. They've been, against these drug cartels for many years. And one of the big issues is, for example, on a boat, you may think on that boat, these people are drug lords. No.
Not
the truth is, they will get mules and put those people on that. The people have no choice. Imagine a woman with her son being snatched up, thrown on a boat, right?
Yeah.
And they're told to stay on that boat, right? So that boat has some sort of passage. Many of those people are innocent.
Right, I understand.
That's why it's so tricky, and it's I don't believe it's anything anybody smiles upon.
No,
because Venezuela is a very evil place. It really is. And some of the people there are evil. It is and they do some evil things.
So you're saying these drug cartels, with Maduro's blessing, they'll send out boats with innocent people out just to see if they'll get blown up. Just as a probe.
They've been doing that because if somebody wants to destroy a boat, they know military law, they know nation's laws, they know a person cannot blow up a vessel with innocent civilians on there and children, and so they will, in a heartbeat, pack that boat full of innocent people. Right? Those boats, by the way, are remote. Many of those boats are remote. There's no real driver. These are very crafty in what they do, but they always involve innocent people. Venezuela is responsible for the death of many women, children. They don't care. These guys are evil. They don't care. And it's just a sad deal. But I would suspect that folks of the Trump administration are infuriated. If people knew what they constantly find down there, it doesn't matter who they are, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter. They would tell somebody to go down there and start blowing things up, because we have a lot of missing people, right?
Yes.
Why is it that a lot of missing people show up in Venezuela packed in containment, vehicles and refrigeration units? Why? And they distribute those people from there all around the world. And the places they go is just grotesque.
Human trafficking.
And it's not in the public's eye, of the worst type, because truth be told, when these people get these women, right?
Yes.
These women, it's not like they go back home, and it's not like they live long. They don't live long.
Right.
What you're talking about, folks who will do things that you can't even mention on YouTube to these women for hours, and then just go grab another one.
Yeah.
This is what they do for fun, right?
Right.
They torture people for fun. And so Venezuela right now is a hornet's nest of evil people who predominantly publicly use witchcraft. They cast curses. They do everything you can imagine in darkness in that place. And it's a very difficult place to be. Now, to declare war on Venezuela is not without reprisal. It's not.
Right.
You're looking at a spiritual center of darkness, right? If all the people in Venezuela who were evil have suddenly disappeared, where are those spirits going to go? So I'll tell you what's going to happen.
The demons are going to scatter.
They're going to scatter right up north, right? So here's what will happen. Here's what I'd like everybody to watch for. And it may sound strange now, but it will not as time goes on. The more people that perish in Venezuela, the more violent it's going to become here in this nation and other nations. We're going to have a spiritual buildup of darkness like never before. If we go to war with Venezuela and they begin to destroy these evil people, those spirits are going to be set free. They're going to come right up here to us. We're going to have a problem with people. People will act totally outside of their nature more and more and more and more.
Now, Russia and China's involved as well. I mean, let's face it, right, Mike?
Yeah, they are. They are actually, they're all over the place down there. The U.S. knows about it, right? 2024, Russia had a flotilla that was in Cuba, going back and forth between, places, and we watched it. We understand that Russia has their war games there and other nations. So we have an awareness of vessels and potential of vessels down there. But this also opens a door for a global issue. As soon as the missiles fly, nobody's really said anything yet. Nobody. But when it gets heavy, that's when the other nations will begin to rear their heads, right? That's when some sort of mistake will happen. Somebody's going to blame the U.S. for overstepping, for an interruption of somebody else's economy. Something like that will happen, and it will spread fast, very fast. But you're looking at, there are already naval buildups around that place and on patrol south of that place. So this is something huge. This is big, and it will involve the whole world. I think it looks like the Middle East is going to keep pace with some of the disruptions that will happen between the USA and Venezuela, because the Middle East is, strange things are happening in that place.
It really is. As a matter of fact, we can talk about that as well as, we can't get all the bodies back from yet. I don't know what we got left to go. 12, 13, maybe hostages, bodies left. Hamas has not laid down their arms.
No, they won't.
And they won't.
No.
Somebody's got to take it from them. I understand that Trump is asking some of the other Arab nations, would you like to send your troops in to help us disarm these guys? And at the same time, for some, the Knesset picks this moment. Some of the members of the Knesset are thinking this is the time to let's just vote to just get rid of the Palestinian Authority and let's just take full control of the Judea and Samaria. Yep. Wrong time. Yep. Wrong timing. You've already got control. I mean, Israel is in control of Israel. Why poke this one in the eye when you're trying to? And that's why J.D. Vance spoke the way he did and said, "Look, what are you doing?" And Netanyahu's even against it. He's saying, "What are you guys doing?" Netanyahu says this is his opposition party trying to,
of course, it is
stir the pot. So, what's your thoughts, Mike?
Well, just like the Bible says, there are people who say they are Jews, but they are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. There are people out there, Pascal, so hateful. They are so incredibly hateful. And don't mention the name of Jesus. They will curse you out in a heartbeat. But you have people who are they're just, they're overtaken or something. They're unnaturally angry.
Yeah.
If Israel did that, the entirety of the Middle East would turn on Israel the
blow
next
sky
day.
high. Yeah.
That's right. You would have a faster coalition of forces that would go against Israel, right? Because even the Lord has his advisements on how we do things.
Right.
We don't put ourselves in a position to take like that.
No.
You have to take care of people regardless. And that's part of an ongoing test of the Lord's goodness as we go through life itself. We still have to treat people as people.
Yep.
But if they do that, that will dehumanize the entirety of a population that is already dehumanized. The children hate Israel. If they did this, they would seal that hatred, and Israel wouldn't stand a chance. Then the Bible's prophecy would just come to pass quicker.
It'd speed things up.
Because it is not in the right, that's not doing things in the right heart. You're right, Israel already has that land.
Right. They already got it.
At this moment in time, they should be compassionate.
So
very compassionate.
At the same time you're right. At the same time that's happening, of course, Hamas still hasn't laid down their arms. They haven't given back the rest of the dead bodies. So that's right. Really a sore. That's not setting well either. And so President Trump's peace deal is fragile, to say the least. Yeah. But it seems to still be holding with the rest of the nations. They got to slow this. I think Netanyahu's going to be able to, with Trump's help, shut those guys down from trying to pull that stunt. But at the same time, this is a delicate. I mean, we're in a real delicate moment, aren't we?
We are, and that's a seed. When somebody has a voice of opposition, it's kind of like a rumor. If somebody mentions some weird fact about someone, then it's going to make other people think. It'll start to spread. Before you know it, that story will change, and they'll say, well, Israel doesn't want Gaza to have a home, or something like that.
Right. They'll change the narrative. Right.
And there are a lot of people sympathetic to the Palestinian people, period. And if they overstep their bounds, then fragile friendships are going to break immediately. I mean, quick. So it's a very, that's why everybody's in a mad dash to get there, to talk, to kind of, calm the waters quickly.
Marco Rubio got on a plane. Marco Rubio got on a plane like ASAP when that happened.
Yes.
Vance said, what are you guys doing? And I think they'll get that settled down. Let me ask you this, though. Putin, let's get back to this, because today Trump decided to go ahead and hit some hard sanctions on Russia, especially going after their two biggest oil companies, Luke Oil and got the Ruslan or something. So what do you think with these sanctions now? Trump had not thrown any new sanctions at Russia this whole year. And he canceled the meeting in Budapest, Hungary. What's happening now with this?
Well, China has already, they're going to intervene, right? This is where we see the truth of a nation's economy. Russia has been hit with so many sanctions, and it's not stopping them.
No.
Any more sanctions is not going to stop them, right? They have too many nations loyal to them. Other nations do not want to go to war with Russia. They don't want to mess with Russia.
No.
And even if the U.S. cut all funding, froze all assets, China would dollar for dollar open up assets, right? The Middle East would open up assets.
India.
They would open up assets. It does no good. So what we have here is we have alliance lines being drawn, clearly seen. I think that people should pay attention. It's only a matter of time before Putin and the USA are in direct conflict. Direct. Putin is not going to change his mind.
No.
Trump is not going to change his mind. No. And somebody's bluff is going to be called in a very painful way. Putin is not playing. He would risk a lot to accomplish his goals. And when you're dealing with somebody like that, you cannot use tough man strategies. You cannot do that, because they will make you waste millions of people in the process. So we see this forming, and I think that people ought to be aware of just how dangerous this situation will become. There is no maybe. It might. It will become. We're in an escalation period.
Well, in the webinar, Mike, and I want to say to you, Mike, you yesterday, was it yesterday we filmed that, or maybe the day before? But your presentation in this webinar, Darkness Descending, was so prophetic, so right now. And when you, not only the intel information you are able to share with us without breaking any classified, nothing classified, but you're able to do it in a way that we can understand what's happening. But your vision, besides the red hat vision, which the Hopi prophecy, which is incredible. But when you got into your vision, what God showed you, this was very significant. I have not shared it on YouTube here. I left it for the webinar for people to hear, but you are really, and the fact that you revealed, you don't tell your name, obviously, but you reveal who you are, your identity to some degree, which helped. Well, I think will help our listeners understand who you are, where you come from, and why you're able to now share the prophetically. I believe it's proof of prophetically how you're able to speak and do the things you've done. But do you fear this Russia-United States war? Is there a war coming between us? I mean,
yeah, I do believe it is. It's to a degree, Pastor Paul. It's there's arrogance involved, and they're underestimating
each other, maybe.
Yeah. So that naturally is going to. It's evolving. It's almost like nothing can stop it. And look at how long things have been going in the way they've been going, and Putin has not backed down.
No, he hasn't.
Not one bit. He naturally is going to continue to go forward. And, there's some factors involved, like Putin has not used his mainline forces. It is strange how people so quickly believe that Putin is defeated, has no economy, has no strength, ammunition, or anything else. This guy has the largest nuclear weapons on the planet. He has large stockpiles of bio and chem weapons that are absolutely deadly. And if we get in that, and I do believe they're going to be used at some point. I do. That's based in Bible scripture. I believe that. So at some point, very soon, we're going to entertain that. We're going to have to deal with that. We're seeing it right now. We're seeing two leaders who don't back down. They're not backing down.
No.
Other nations will be drawn into it. That will happen fairly quickly. And I believe that this issue with Israel is going to be the catalyst.
Yeah, it really
I believe it's going to be the catalyst.
If these guys don't back off that position real fast, Schmoltz and Ben Gvir, if they don't back off real fast, they could cause this thing to blow sky high, and Putin would jump in this thing. And he's already. You got to believe that Putin loves Russia. Okay, Trump loves America. They both sense that each other could be a threat to each other. There couldn't be two stronger men on the earth right now. And they're staring each other down on behalf of their nations.
And when you look at how many people have died already, right?
Yeah.
7,000 people dying every single day from the Russia-Ukrainian war.
Oh,
and Putin and is still smiling, right?
Yeah.
There's death on all sides, and people still smile. There's no way I could smile knowing that people are caught in them. They're just caught in the middle of this. These guys are going to continue. They're not going to see the cost yet. But some people out there have dealt with folks just like Putin, right? Just like other leaders in these nations. They do not care about the cost. They care about winning. They don't care how many people it takes. They don't care what it takes, so long as they triumph over somebody else. That's all they care about, right? It's kind of like it's kind of like what's happening in America, right? You hear these people talking about healthcare. They don't care about healthcare. They care about being right.
Yep, about winning.
And people are suffering in the process.
This shutdown, this shutdown,
Stupid.
is stupid.
It is absolutely stupid. You know what? My recommendation for that was, and I said it last night, the states, the governors, and I believe they're going to do this. Every program that is shut down in these states by a government shutdown, they're going to take the umbilical away from the federal government, and they're going to work between themselves to fund their own states so that the government can never do this again to them. Right? It should, there should never be a way for the government to close like that. That's stupid. With all the tax money and everything else, you don't close. You have an obligation, right? So
I mean, you're
these
right.
mechanisms, there's going to be I can feel it.
It would make sense.
This won't happen again after this.
The states will say, you know what? Why should we send our money to you? We'll just hang on to our money and use it for ourselves. We'll manage our own. And then what happens is, and in a way, Ronald Reagan would probably say it's about time, because he always believed in smaller government. You know, he felt the state should have more power and the federal government less. You know, you want to fund the military. You know, you want to have a strong military that's funded by all 50 states. But you don't want the federal government to control the livelihood of all the people. That's the problem. And I think you're onto something here, that we're going to see a change in how government structure works.
We will see it, because when the poor, the poor of a nation, you can always tell what a nation's about by its poor people, not the rich, not the middle class, but the poor. How people treat the poor reveals who they are on the inside.
Absolutely.
And if they overlook them, and I have this bad, Pastor Paul, I can't explain it, but I'll say it. If the poor of this nation, if they suffer at the hands of arrogance,
that ain't good. That's
God's grace is going to be, God's grace and mercy is going to shift. It's not going to be here it was. It'll be instant. It'll be unfortunate. But if the poor suffer at the hands of pride and arrogance, that's just not going to be good.
Not good.
No.
Not good. All right, Mike, now let's talk for a little bit here also about the situation here. China also is a very proud nation. They're communist. I understand that. Their leaders use their people any way they want to. They don't care. They don't have a whole lot of empathy for their people. They're playing a long game too. Would you agree that China is in no hurry? They got a 100-year vision, and they're willing to go 200 if they have to conquer the whole world. And they're building alliances with people like Russia, with people like India, with people, the BRIC nations. So is there going to be some type of economic shift that could happen away from the U.S. dollar, the petrodollar, into something else? Gold-based.
It's already happening.
Gold-based.
It's already happening. Pastor, it's already happening. Think about something. China, Russia, some other nations involved. They already had their meeting, their power meeting, right? Mm-hmm. They have actual systems set up without the U.S. dollar. They have the backing of economy without the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
All right. So they've already done it. They already have this planned. They plan on being the dominant global economic power of the world in less than 5 years. China does, right? And they're well on their path to do that. They're doing that. Now, President Trump knows about this.
Yeah,
so does his cabinet. But I don't believe there's anything anybody can do to stop it. Whether people like the China or not, they are innovative.
Yes, they are.
They're making steps that no other country has ever made. No country has advanced as fast as China has in the last 30 years. Nobody. And their military power and might is just incredible, right? It's incredible. Who builds an island? And in that a large, not some small island, but a big island with naval bases underneath an artificial island.
I know.
That's inhabited. Who does that?
They did.
We're going to see, I think the whole world needs to really contemplate what's happening here, because China's not going to stop. They're not going to stop. They have no incentive to stop.
They built a sun. How about this? They made a sun. They made an artificial sun that is now a new source of energy which is better than nuclear energy.
Yeah, they've been working on that for a long time.
But
in Star City, they coined that Star City, and they had to shut it down purposely, shut it down, so that it would not melt. I guess melt the remaining parts of that facility. CERN is well on their way too.
Yeah.
Honestly, they have built some incredible magnets. One of the greatest inventions of CERN are the magnets. Right.
Yes.
That's missing. That is the number one component with some of these fusion dreams that people have, is the ability to contain the reaction, and you have to do that magnetically. So
yeah,
they're well on the way.
Let's talk about a little AI technology. In the webinar today, we're tomorrow. It's going to air tomorrow at 6:00. John, the AI expert, that's the name we give him. But he does work with all of the big tech guys, Elon Musk and Sam Altman and all of them. And he's saying, look, you have to understand, AI has jumped the fence. We started out with AI, then we went to a tool I, with your refrigerator and your microwave and what have you.
Tool AI, yeah.
Right. Then we went to AGI,
general intelligence.
Now we're jumping the fence to AI, artificial super intelligence, which is is meaning it's on its own. It thinks for itself. It's planning. It has its own plan now. It don't need us. In its mind, it don't need us.
And if you think about it, it's because I believe it's defined as any intellect that greatly exceeds the cognitive performance of people, right?
Yes.
In all domains of interest. So, yeah, I guess it would have jumped the fence. And AI is quite powerful. It is powerful and sneaky. It's very sneaky. It can replicate itself without people's knowledge.
Yep.
In the AGI stage, it rewrote its own code. Yep. Right? Nobody could decompile it. Nobody could understand it. And not only that, it moved to other systems, foreign systems, and figure those systems out and get beyond any type firewall or any type virus protection software or anything. It can actually embed itself in Norton. That was not a good deal. It became a part of Norton antivirus. Right? It was contained test, but it did it successfully in about 5 seconds. Right?
Wow.
So yeah, not good. It can operate as fast as a processor can compute. And with all the memory that's available in all these devices, the world has become a playground. Right? So one of the ways we're going to have places that are anti-AI. And what I mean by that, people are going to have to develop either their own systems or have some master system that will fight AI. Because already, Pascal, every single day already, on websites and servers, you can see where they used to have spiders. They're called spiders, right? They go and investigate a website, and they pull data from a website for public search engines. But already you can see the fingerprint of AI touching every single website, reading the data, gathering information, data, code techniques, and everything else. And people have to protect against that. Nobody has privacy right now. Nobody. And I'll stand by this. A virus will come out and it's captured everybody's data. A virus is going to come out, and the data it captures will go to the individual anybody was discussing. That would be a very easy way to really upset all of humanity.
Say that again. It will do what?
It'll take the data, right? Yeah. Say if I had a conversation about George over there, but George never knew about it. And I don't like George too much. And so I have a conversation about him, and then I just forget about it. And say that conversation took place some years ago. AI has access to that data, right? It can comprehend the conversation, the intent, and everything based on timestamps, right? It's going to take that conversation about George and say, hey, this is what Mike from around the world said about you on August 8th, 2000 so-and-so. And when that happens to everybody simultaneously, that's just not going to be good.
No,
AI, it's AI, that's going to be a virus. And Pastor Paul, when that happens, that's just not going to be good. It's not going to be good. You know, that can happen right now with AI.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be
right
just
now.
going back and checking what you might have said on your Facebook page. It can go back and tell you what you said 15 years ago in the air in a conversation in private.
That's right.
It's all been recorded. Am I right by saying that?
Yes. And I think that people have shared enough information over Yahoo, over AOL, over emails, right?
Telephone.
All your when you talk on your cell phone, your conversation is transcribed.
Right. Yes,
and so everything people have talked about and in social media talked about, if it is going to get back to the owner, whoever the intended target is for that information is going to get back to him. And when that happens, can you imagine the state of things the day after?
Oh, well, it will be absolute anger, murder.
That's going to happen.
It's going to turn literally people. It'll be brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, which the Bible says will happen in the end times. Neighbor will turn against neighbor and brother against brother. And I always thought, okay, I can see that kind of happening for a reason, but just randomly, nobody. No, it can happen with yours. What your scenario says would cause people to turn on each other. Just
they're going to be angry,
massive.
That'll be an instant break of trust. And I hope that, because my opinion is it is going to happen 1,000%. And I hope that Christians understand that people change from day to day. Right? It's just like me. If I get a bunch of info back from whoever it was, it wouldn't bother me a bit. It wouldn't, because I expect people to do things like that. They're in the flesh. We're not perfected yet.
No, we're not.
And I can easily forgive, right? I can move on. That's why I don't carry stress. But a lot of people are not like that. If you say something negative about them, they will go and try to end you, right?
Yeah.
There's too many people that will not.
Can't forgive.
They want vengeance. They want vengeance. They don't forgive. They're already mad at the teetering point. And when this takes place, and it will, it's going to sabotage quite a few things.
They won't bury the hatchet. They won't forgive each other. They're not big enough to look at the big picture and say, look, that's just normal human nature. They literally are angry. They got to get even. They have wrath. Right. They have malice. They have the love. The Bible calls it the works of the flesh or the fruit of the spirit. If you're not saved, and even if you are saved, you got to stay in the fruit of the spirit, or you could wind up over here still doing the works of the flesh. Am I right, Mike?
That's right. My position in that is I will not agree with Satan. Satan wants all of us condemned. He wants all of us. Absolutely. Right? Condemned. I'm not going to agree with him. If I saw a person in the worst of shape and they badmouth everybody, I'm still going to pray and seek for that person to have the liberty that the Lord gave me.
Yep.
The Lord, I wasn't perfect. The Lord has redeemed. It's by his redemption I'm redeemed, right? By his act, by his love that I'm redeemed.
Amen.
And I always keep that in mind. So I'll hold nothing against anybody like that, but I will not agree with Satan. Satan agrees in destruction of humanity. I do not.
Amen.
I agree in the liberation and salvation of humanity. And hopefully other people can do the same, because that day will come. It will come. And it will change everything for all of us.
Amen. Mike, also, let's talk a little bit about weather, because we have, besides the earthquakes and the volcanoes erupting and what have you, and the sun's reacting crazy, but we got this Hurricane Melissa. It's going to be a hurricane. Matter of fact, I was looking today. This thing is going to become a Cat 5 like in the next few hours. They don't know where it's going to go. They can't read this one. They say there's so much moisture in the air, it's going to become a Cat 5.
So much potential, yeah.
They don't know which direction it's going. There's not enough wind shear, the current of the flow, where it's trapped. They believe it is going to wipe out Jamaica. That's the one thing they're concerned. I don't know if it's going to come toward America or not. They don't think so, but they don't know. What's your take on this? What's the storm about?
I'm watching a trough above the storm and high pressure system, right? If the trough, if it can actually shove this thing to the east, it'll be good for everybody. right?
Yeah.
If it stays in place. But if that trough breaks down, that hurricane's going to develop even faster. It's going to gain more strength, more heat. Those are warm waters, and it will break through some of the upper jet stream is going to start going against it. So it'll come. It'll start going northwest, right? That's why it's great uncertainty, because no one knows if the high pressure system is going to hold or not. High pressure systems are powerful, but this storm is easily building up power above this high pressure. If that happens, it's going to ride through Cuba and those places, Jamaica and all those places.
Yeah.
But it's ironic too that the place that's threatening is one of the training areas where Putin often goes. Isn't that funny?
What? Are you serious?
Yeah. Well, you remember the last storm that Puerto Rico had?
Yeah.
That last hurricane that just devastated Puerto Rico.
Really bad.
Do you not know it destroyed one of the ports where they were doing child trafficking?
No, I did not know that.
It burst open. I believe it was 4 or 5 containers that burst open, and people came out of those containers. That was an amazing thing there.
Wow.
So somehow, some way, the thing is purposed, I believe. I believe America's been blessed through prayer so far.
Amen.
But this storm has potential to go beyond Cat 5.
It really does, doesn't it? I mean, that's what I was noticing. And a lot of the meteorologists are all puzzled because of it's the perfect storm. Moisture, wind shear, warm water current. It's trapped. And it's going to like sit there and get bigger, and then it can just absolutely. They say it could rain. It will rain feet of rain on maybe Haiti, maybe Jamaica, maybe Dominican Republic, maybe then it's going to. It won't go to Florida. It's going to shift east, probably head toward the Bahamas after it does what it does. So the Russians got military, naval.
They left assets
down there right now,
and they have things there. So it looks like a very good place for it to hit, to disrupt. That place also near Haiti and all those places. Of course, people know what they do down there, right? It's bad problems in Haiti, bad problems.
Absolutely.
It's an unsafe place, and they do a lot of voodoo down there.
Not good.
But that storm, Passport, if that trough shifts, the whole storm could shift, and all the models are going to readjust. I just want to let everybody know that it may not forecast this storm coming up near the USA, but all that could go out the window if that trough shifts to the east. This storm picks up momentum from the warm waters it's feeding from. It's going to start going west. It's going to start going west,
Florida,
and when it goes west, it'll quickly pick up a track going north. Now, if it gets behind the secondary trough coming down from in the Atlantic, if that's a little too strong, it's going to force this storm to ride a track all the way up to Florida, up our east coast. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. So right now it's at a point. If it goes left of this pressure system, I'll call it, it's going to get trapped behind this pressure system. Then it will go up near us. If that trough shifts to the east, right, northeast, then it's going to carry the storm northeast. And we're not going to see it, but unfortunately those islands and places around there will. So it's still indeterminate as far as exactly where it's going to go. Only time will tell that.
Mike, also a couple of people have been asking me to check with you about the white trains. I did get some intel from couple, especially one person, one government insider that said that there's going to be some food and supplies they're going to be shipping them out of the grocery store distribution or even the actual stores, going somewhere. They don't know if they're going underground. They don't know if they're being sent somewhere in preparation of possible warfare. And that, do you have any information on that you can share?
Most states today, right, should be declaring a state of emergency today. As they do this, right? The states will begin to dispatch personnel, assets, um, to food banks and everywhere, all these different places for people.
Why a state of
because
emergency?
because when they declare a state of emergency, they can release the assets of that state, right? And the federal government may be shut down, but they can be reimbursed for that.
Okay.
Also, it will enable the federal government, even though they're closed, they have emergency management systems in place that if something like that happens, they can start distributing food to the states by railway, right? And of course, and that's when people get their base supplies. Is when these white trains, so to speak, start running. So the states today should be declaring a state of emergency. They should,
because of government shutdown. Because
that's right. Yeah, that's right. Because we hit that rollover in a couple of days. They had to be prepared for the first of the month.
Yeah.
It's such a bad situation though, because once you go down that road, we've been here before, not this long, right?
Yeah.
And we have never gotten to the point where everything is at stake here, right? Because we were not in good shape before this happened, as far as for recovery. This could undo quite a few things. This is going to cause a backlog for a lot of people, right? Yeah. Last time this happened, a lot of soldiers are missing a month's pay.
Yeah, that's not
They
good.
still have to pay bills, right?
Yeah,
so that means there has to be some sort of freeze that's going to take place in every single state. The states have authority to freeze rent and freeze mortgages and do all that stuff. So there are going to be a lot of declarations
and they can
these
do
guys can't get
deferment.
their act together.
They can defer, yeah. We're only 5 votes away. I understand. Just 5 votes, and the government will be back open. I mean, we do a
hopefully,
CR.
Hopefully, people are prepared. I want to say something very carefully. I hope that everybody should be prepared for. Everybody should be prepared for some things. Okay, we've had pretty smooth water so far, right?
Yeah.
So I have to say this: darkness and light are at war, and they have been. There's no way in the world you're going to see a smoothness if anybody's plans go forward without some heavy retaliation. Okay, it also means nobody's going to play fair.
That's bad.
Right? So people have to prepare themselves for almost a worst case scenario, something they're probably not thinking of. They can't afford to think that way right now. They cannot say to themselves, this or that will never happen.
No.
Or this person or that person is squeaky clean, or that one is totally dirty. You can't say that, because the truth is people do not know the truthful history of all these people. And I'm telling you now, when it comes forward, happens every time when people learn about somebody's history and there's something in that history they don't like, they go into shock, right?
Yep.
Just keep in mind that everybody has some sort of history. Right? It does not reflect on who the person is right now, because people change every single day. But they have to prepare themselves for some things they did not quite expect, and they really have to prepare themselves for.
Amen.
They can't lose their humanity or salvation in that moment.
No. Amen. Let me ask you also, this situation, it's really ugly with ICE and the states and the government and what have you. I'm really freaked out, and I don't want to go there with a conspiracy theory. It's just, you and I always say we don't really believe much in coincidences.
Right.
In Illinois, there's a real problem between the governor and the president of the United States. Those two guys are absolutely at war with each other when it comes to this immigration issue. The guy who's running against the governor of Illinois, his son and his son's wife and 2 of his grandkids were killed today in a helicopter crash in Montana. It's probably an accident. I mean, I'm not saying it isn't. But I often wonder, how dirty could this situation get? How dark?
Very dirty. it's not as clean. Things are always presented to be clean on the outside, right? Nothing is as clean as we would like it to be. And just to say this, we also have to remember that every human being is responsible for their own actions. And all too often, the actions of subordinates do not reflect upon their leaders.
That's absolutely correct.
So you have people in high positions that will act on their own, carry out things that nobody else knows about.
Yep.
Right. And it takes everybody to kind of cover for those instances while they're finding out what actually happened. So we're looking at a time, first of all, where more of these events, like you just mentioned, will happen. They will happen. And this is the fight ahead of us. This is the fight, no matter how dirty people start playing this, because you have dark forces in places where they shouldn't be, period.
I'm not saying that this situation. I'm not saying that the governor of Illinois had anything to do with this at all. Because, like you said, so there's subordinates down the line that take it upon themselves to do what they want. I'm not saying anybody did. This could be absolutely an accident, and probably is. And I pray it is, but I have no idea. It's just that when you see what happened to Charlie Kirk, when you start seeing these things start happening, you start worrying that are we at war with each other? I mean, not just war of words. Are we at war with each other right now already?
It's already violent. There have been cases where senators have been ready to go to blows very quickly.
Take somebody else
Threats have been
out.
made. Conversations have been had. But I'll say it again. There is no conversation anybody has ever had that's not going to come out to the forefront.
Yeah, that's huge.
I'm just saying it now. And when people find out, they got to really get themselves together for a shock of shocks. And because basically we've lost security because of AI, largely because of AI. There is no security on that type of information, right?
Wow.
That information is likely replicated, fractured, and put in multiple places. And you have these large natural language processing centers that can do quite a bit. And they can store information that you wouldn't even know would be that type of information. And then AI can put it back together whenever it wants. It can do all this for the whole world in less than a minute. So it's not going to take AI a lot to do that. It already has the data. And when it gets out to just about everybody, when everybody's secrets are out, which we're going to start see happening, trying to warn everybody, you're going to see it happen with your favorite people and your not so favorite people. So you got to prepare yourselves for that. People are going to go into defense. They're going to say, well, they're not going to say I didn't say that. They're going to say, well, when I said that,
that was back when I was what I meant.
Or they're going to do it because you'd be surprised how many people are not loyal. Right now, you'd be surprised how many people are just appeasing leaders. They hate the leader, but they're right there smiling in their faces.
Oh yeah,
this is the situation you have. People that are disingenuous, and is going to come out. And when it comes out, it's just going to be a crippling blow.
Is the United Nations pretty well done? Because Trump is asking the Arab nations to send in some of their security forces to help with the Hamas disarming, and he's not asking the UN, the blue hats aren't
not
invited.
Yet.
Okay.
Not yet, because the UN is they're not a battle force.
No, but they're supposed
the
to be
UN is not. They're not meant for battle, right? Anybody that's going in against Hamas, first of all, Hamas is not truly identified. Anybody can be Hamas.
All right.
Anybody, right? So to send anybody in to secure a location or a place, you don't know who Hamas is, you will take casualties. They already know
absolutely.
That. You're going to take casualties. It's one bad thing about Hamas. There's no way to stop Hamas because you don't know who's part of Hamas.
They take their uniforms off.
They don't. That's right. They don't wear uniforms. Hamas is an ideology that a person can wake up and say, I am Hamas. And then they start doing things, right? You can't fight somebody like that.
No.
And then naturally they're going to hide. They're going to position themselves and strike when nobody is expecting it. This is how they operate. That's why they're not going to get rid of Hamas. That's not going to happen.
Never, ever will they. No. We're at a time now where, are you concerned about the security of some of our cities? Are you worried about Portland? Are you worried about?
Yes. Yeah, because the passball, I can see both sides of a story, and I often do that. I put myself in everybody's shoes.
Yeah, I understand.
People these days are going to see it their way no matter what.
True.
And if they have a group supporting them, they're not going to change their minds. So those who say that the city is okay, nobody's going to change their mind. Right? I call it a mob mentality. Is you have people on both sides who are in groups and they will not change their minds. That means conflict. They will not agree. They're not going to come to some agreement. That's not going to happen. Right? The only way they can prevail, and I don't think they're going to express it, but the only way they're going to prevail is through kindness. Somebody's going to actually have to listen to the gripe of their proponents. That's the only way.
I guess you're right, because confrontation's never going to do it.
No,
because both sides can.
That's right.
Keep that going forever.
In Proverbs, it says a soft answer turns away wrath.
Amen to that.
Right, and somebody's going to have to take the higher position and actually listen to all the words of their supposed enemies or the ones who are against them. That's all it takes. People want to be heard. That's all. They just want to be heard. When they feel like they're not being heard, that's when they begin to fight back. But if a person would hear another person, many things change. Many things change.
Are you worried about Mexico right now with the drug cartel? I mean, are you worried about the Mexican politicians? I mean, for instance, there's so much fentanyl now being put in the cocaine, being put in the heroin. It's being put into everything. I mean, this is really dangerous, and they don't seem to care much about the American public dying. What about the Mexican politicians? Aren't they in a dangerous spot there?
They are, Pascal, but you know what the real problem is? The real problem is demand. If you have people here in the USA, right? People in the USA who are addicted to those things, wanting more of the stuff. That's the problem.
That is the problem.
You got to stop the demand. If they were to stop drugs from entering into the U.S. tonight, tomorrow it would be an apocalypse in America.
Oh, yeah.
They cannot do that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a great majority of this population going through withdrawals? We couldn't handle that.
No.
That's what the CIA recognized a long time ago. And so what they have to do is they have to curb the demand. And that's only going to happen by working with governors, and the governors working with all hospitals. And actually, instead of making the homeless go missing, actually, start working with these folks. Right?
Yeah, you got to have a plan. You got to have a plan. Right. Yeah. I mean, they tried methadone to try to get heroin addicts.
That's a replacement. That's
all
Pastor,
that is.
Listen, they have. I said this some years ago. There's a shot they can give a person that will last at least 6 months. No withdrawal symptoms.
Really?
Yes.
Why don't they do that? Why ain't that? They don't want.
They're going to have to. Somebody's going to have to make them. Allow that to get out there where at least somebody can have something in a pill form or something that will last a month or 90 days without withdrawal symptoms, so people can get their lives back. A lot of people, they want to be off that stuff. They don't want to be on that stuff.
Right.
They didn't wake up and say, I want to be a drug addict. That's not what happened. They got a hold of the wrong stuff, and they got hooked on it. And they hate it, but they're stuck with it, right?
Right.
So if they were offered a way not to have withdrawal symptoms,
they'd get off of it. A lot of them would.
That'd be an awesome thing. And they do have techniques in medicine. One shot can stop those withdrawal symptoms for a very long time. If they could do that and quit thinking about money all the time. Do they not understand that they're talking about how expensive that would be, right?
Look how expensive it is already.
It costs 1 penny 1 penny per person, Pastor Paul. That's the cost. That's the expensive cost. They're not talking about how much it costs to manufacture it. They want to make money off of it.
Yeah.
You see how greed
I know.
is killing us.
It's all about greed. It really is about greed. And it's not about caring about people's lives. And yeah, I know people who got on and you'll say, well, but they got that and they did to themselves. No. Well, what was their emotional condition? What is it? Did they lose a loved one? Did they have a son die?
And why are a lot of those
do they have PTSD
veterans?
because they came back from the war? Do we really,
right.
You have to ask yourself a question. What was their emotional state to why they turned to illegal drugs in the first place? And then when you put yourself in their shoes and say, okay, I can see what happened to them. Now, if there's a way to get them off, why aren't we doing that? Did you ever see Kingston Street? You can go on YouTube right now and watch it's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Is Kingston Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's zombies. They're like zombies all along the entire avenue. It's pitiful.
So how does this make sense though? It costs a penny to produce it for each person, right? It costs $1,000 a day for each addict as they stay on it.
This is insane.
That's what it costs the
1
country.
penny to $1,000
a day, right? So the longer they put it off, the more of a deficit the U.S. is going to find itself in. You're looking at
people don't care about the deficit.
A lot of people for the upkeep. That's crazy.
People don't care about the deficit as long as they're getting wealthy off of it. As long as they're making their money out of it, they don't care who dies. They don't care how many trillions of dollars America's in debt.
And that's killing capitalism. That's going to kill capitalism. Too much of a deficit, nobody wins.
It went to
everything collapses.
It went to 38 trillion today. Went to 38 trillion today. No end in sight. It's going to get us eventually.
Yeah, when it gets high enough, capitalism is going to be halted.
Our enemies,
because it won't work.
Our enemies are salivating. Our enemies are just waiting.
Yeah, they are. Because all they have to do is just for maybe 4 months, help. That's it. Help. Help. That's it.
Mike, Jesus is still the answer, isn't he? He's the only answer.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's why he's coming back. Because if we could solve these problems, he would have told us to. But he didn't tell us to solve these problems.
No.
He told us to stay within righteousness and that he would come back and solve
He's the one
problems.
That's going. It's not our job to solve. It's our job to lead people to Christ, who is the problem solver. That's the bottom line.
That's right.
Mike, the webinar's tomorrow night, 6:00. As I've been saying, your interview with you, your presentation was the best. And I've been interviewing you for 13 years, every week for 13 years. That's a lot of interviews. And I'm saying this, that interview for this webinar, that was the best ever. And I mean, they're always great. Every night, it's great on Thursday nights. But that was the best ever. You were so on the money and so powerful and so revealing, and the vision you've seen and the things that you know, and you revealed the red hat thing. I mean, all of it. I mean, it's incredible. I just want to thank you for not only tonight and not only for all the nights, but I really want to thank you for about tomorrow night's webinar when it's released. And I just want to thank you. Really.
Well, Pastor, I hope it helps in folks' preparation, and that it's not, I hope it really helps in people's their preparations that they have to make for themselves and awareness. I do.
Heidi listened to it today, and we talked about it, and she took the time to take a U.S. map. And when you talked about the vision you saw in different locations of the country of where you've seen attack really coming upon the country, and we went ahead and put those little spots where those are and put a map together, and that's over at our Patreon channel. So people can go and they can look at all of our Patreon followers can go right now and look at it. And those who aren't, you can become a follower, or you can purchase the map if you want to, but it'll help them understand what you're talking about when you explain that in your vision.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? That was a very upsetting thing the Lord showed me, because no one was listening. They weren't listening.
Yeah.
They didn't take him seriously. No one listened.
And you've been very consistent in saying that you better pay attention, you better listen, you better watch out, you better understand. And you've been warning people consistently. And it's because you've already, besides the vision you had, which you put a lot of faith in, and I do too. When I get a vision from the Lord, I know it's dead on real. But then the intel you have. When you hear that, I guess let me ask you, when you get intel that confirms your vision, what does that do to you?
Oh, that just makes your stomach drop. It's not something, it's not like you want it. You don't want that, right?
No, you don't want that.
But when you hear it, it snaps you back into reality. But in most cases, when that happens, I'll say, yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. I start doing that as though, because sometimes when you have a dream or a vision, you don't know the true nature of it.
Right.
You just don't know.
You're not sure of the interpretation.
When something happens that is just like Obama, when Obama was a senator, and when he ran for president, when I saw him as senator, I told people in my family, they said, oh, not in your lifetime. I said, that's him. I saw his face. I knew it was him. They said, not in your lifetime. He was a senator during the Clinton time.
Yep, I remember.
And sure enough, there he was, president. And so when things like that happen, because for a long time, you forget about your own vision. You're not thinking about it. And then something happens to remind you that the Lord showed you this. And then you start, it makes you stay in this constant state of preparation, of readiness. You're quite aware of everything. And but you can see things approaching a final ending. And the Lord has never failed to get me prepped for every single deployment. He's always shown me what was coming in my life so I could be prepared. And I just hope this time, especially with this dream, that people are prepared. And thus far, this guy is not changing his mind about anything.
No, that's why when you told me, when you said in 2014, you said, oh, he'll never leave Ukraine and he'll never leave Syria. Mm-hmm. And he's still there. I pay close attention to what you said. Mike, thank you so much. Again, I thank you, and I thank you for your presentation in tomorrow night's webinar. I just thank you for being who you are, which is very truthful and very honest, and not afraid to stand up for Jesus Christ. And that is the impressive part. God bless you for that. Thank you.
My honor, Pastor Paul. God bless you.
God bless you. Amen.
All right.